then. Yeah.
So you couldn't go to hospitals because
You could have gone to D.C. Blacks only went to Freedman's Hospital back at that time. It was one hospital. That's where black people went.
Now, when you were coming up, did you ever go to a public library or?
No, I heard you might could go to the library in Vienna, maybe. I don't know.
But you didn't have one around in Maryfield, that area. Yeah.
We had a section in the school where they called it a library, where they had books in a closet like on the wall.
And that's where you would check out books.
Yes.
So what else did they have in Maryfield?
Something else I was about to tell you about Maryfield. They had a couple of halls. One was called Liberty Hall. I guess that was down near the church, and the other one maybe in the Oddfellows Hall. I don't know. One building is still there.
Right.
Right. And,
so what did they have? Do you remember those halls?
I remember the halls. I don't remember. I remember. I had a good memory for a child. I could remember everything. If I met someone and I was about 3 or 4 years old, I would never forgot them.
Huh.
Right.
So tell us about the halls. What were they like?
I don't know much about the halls except the one. That was Liberty, and the other one was maybe the Oddfellows. I remember they had Saturday night dances, but we could hear the music all the way over toward Williamstown, and but we didn't go to dances and things like that. Now, we did get a chance to go to a movie in the church when we were children, a couple of movies. This church had a movie, and I don't remember what the movie was about because our grandmother took us there,
At the old church in Maryfield. Right. So they would set up a projector.
Right, and they had a movie. I remember, I think, going twice. Because, see, my family didn't have a car. My grandfather had a car, so my mother, we didn't have a car. Well, my father, we could have walked us out there, I guess, but I didn't know much about movies then.
What other things recreational things did they have at the church?
I can't think of anything else all right off the bat. They've had guest choirs come to church, yeah. They had a choir come to that church one night, and I tell you the truth, if you had crutches, you would have thrown them away. Their group was called. They were a black church from Georgetown. Yeah, black people used to live in Georgetown years ago. Yeah. And the only thing left now is the church. And one day I was standing in the house, I asked my mother, I says, where did y'all go to the theater? She said, we went to the Mott. I said, the Mott? So when I heard Mott, I thought about Mott's applesauce, And I said, the Mott Theater? I said, that's that abandoned building on the corner of a Key Bridge and Elm Street. And that's why they went to church. And it was there through most of the 60s, abandoned, And that's why they went to church, she said. Because my grandmother had family, I think, in Georgetown and somewhere in D.C.
Yeah. Now, do you remember your grandparents taking their produce to the market?
I don't know. That was before my time.
Before your time. Okay.
Mrs. Janie Ransel, she used to go with him. Did you get a chance to see that picture? Okay. Miss Janie Ransel would go with him. And my mother, they would always talk about Mrs. Ransel going to the market with them,
So she would bring her produce too?
Yeah, I guess she would.
And they'd all sell it together?
Yeah.
Now, do you remember Lee Furniture Store on Lee Highway?
Lee, up at Prosperity and Lee Highway, yes. What's funny you mentioned? You know what? I needed a wardrobe, and my mother said, let's go where Mrs. Ransel works. So I went and bought it. I bought it, and it stayed into the house until I liked it. And it was a metal wardrobe, and 2 doors on it. And it stayed in the house, so after